Hi guys, Determined Gardener here. I bet you have something on your kitchen counter or in your pantry that is one of the best gardening tools and you don't even know it. I'm talking about it gets rid of fungus, it gets rid of those pesky critters that want to eat up your vegetables or munch on your leaves. What am I talking about? Baking soda. That's right. In this video, I'm going to give you the benefits on why you should be using baking soda in your garden. I guarantee you by the end of this video, you'll never look at baking soda the same. Let's get to it. Okay guys, now for the fun part. We are going to make the mixture. It calls for 1 tablespoon of baking soda and a gallon of water, and we're going to pour it in like that. The next step is optional. You can use a teaspoon of dish soap or you can use olive oil. Why you use olive oil is that it makes it sticky to the leaves, but I don't have olive oil, but I'm just going to use the dish soap and you use a teaspoon of it. There we go. And then we're going to put it in the mixture. Stir that baby really good. I use a spray bottle. That way I can get into every nook and cranny. This is my peony hedge. When it was blooming, wow, it was spectacular. Now take a look at this. This is what's forming, and you can see right here, powdery mildew forming. Yuck! Now powdery mildew really does not harm a plant. It's only when it gets really bad. But who wants this yucky kind of powdery stuff on their plants? And that is where baking soda really helps with something like this. This is my peony head. When it was blooming, wow, it was spectacular. Now take a look at this. This is what's forming, and this are spots on the leaves right here. Powdery mildew forming. Yuck! Now powdery mildew really does not harm a plant. It's only when it gets really bad. But who wants this yucky kind of powdery stuff on their plants? And that is where baking soda really helps with something like this. Not only does it help to reduce the spots, but it also helps with fungus, helps to stop the fungus from spreading on plants like peonies. And if you have powdery mildew, you want to treat it as quickly as possible. So what we're going to do is treat this powdery mildew to make sure it doesn't spread any further. Make sure when you're treating the powdery mildew, you get both the top side and the underside of the plant. And make sure you get the stems too. You can see right here has some powdery mildew on the stems. And this is the reason why I really like it, because you can, the spray bottle, because you can really just target those problem areas that you see. When I spray my plants with baking soda, I make sure it's a nice sunny day. You don't want to do it on a day where it's going to be raining. We also want to treat these areas that are black because most likely that is fungus. You know what else hates baking soda? Snails, slugs, ants, and other insects that want to munch on your precious vegetables and leaves in your raised beds. Before, I used to use this snail bait and slug bait. This cost me about $11. That's before I knew this could do the job. Just sprinkle a tablespoon of baking soda around the plant's base. Now make sure you don't go overboard, because if you do that, it can really alter the pH level of the soil. And you just want to sprinkle around the base just like that. Not too much. Don't go overboard. Just like that, to deter the ants and slugs. And guys, the minute I put in the baking soda, all the ants seem to like get out and run away, and you can see them trying to run away now. Right there, they're getting away. But again, this really helps to get ants out of your raised beds, and it also helps with slugs because slugs hate this. Now, if you are having a slug problem in your garden, you can either use baking soda or salt. Another trick I do is I also put the baking soda at the corners of the raised bed. This will also deter aphids from getting in your garden. Garden friends, I would spend hours just sweating and laboring in my garden to get rid of so many weeds until I found this. That's right, baking soda. Did you know that baking soda can also kill weeds? All you have to do is sprinkle the baking soda on this weed that is growing through this stone, and voila. Just make sure it's not a windy day or it's not going to rain that same day, and within days, this weed will be gone. We all know that baking soda is often used to mask and cover up those unpleasant odors. But if your compost is smelly and you have to hold your nose all the time, baking soda can be your best friend. All you have to do is just sprinkle a little baking soda in your compost, and within a couple of days, the odor will be gone. If you're like me, you spend a lot of time in your garden and you know how important your garden tools are because you use it every day. But sometimes they can get really grimy and rusty like this. That is where baking soda comes in. It's a natural abrasive that can clean your garden tools in a snap. All you need is 2 parts of baking soda and 1 part water. Give it a try. Garden friends, that was just the tip of the iceberg on how beneficial baking soda can be in your garden. There are so many things that you can do with baking soda. It was just too much to list in this one video. So I happen to have made a membership. If you want to join, please do so. This is one of 3 series that I will be talking about the beneficials of baking soda and what I do personally when it comes to this magic ingredient. In the membership, you'll be getting behind the scenes highlights, exclusive looks, and in-depth tutorials on all things gardening. And the best part of my membership, it costs no more than a cup of coffee. So you're getting so many tips and tricks when it comes to gardening. So please join my membership. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on my channel, The Determined Gardener. Don't forget to subscribe, join the family, and share this video with your family and friends. Until next time, guys. Happy gardening. Keep on watching. So gardening friends, I'm going to give you a look at my raised bed. This is my eggplant that I'm growing. It matures 50 to 60 days, and you can see I'm growing it in this pot, and you can see that it's already doing well right there. I think this is a Japanese eggplant. I'm not sure, but I decided to try something new this year. You can see it's also growing here as I don't hurt the leaves, but yes, between 50 to 60 days that will mature. I have beets growing, and you can see they're growing underground. Lots of green peppers that are almost mature. I think that it's gonna be at least another 3 weeks until these peppers mature. And you can see I have a couple of them. I do have orange ones. Now, when it comes to peppers, they start off green and then they turn orange. It takes about maybe 3 to 4 weeks before they turn orange. I have sweet peppers growing, celery, and of course some watermelons. This I'm growing in a raised bed. And I got corn. This is the 2nd season I'm growing corn. I haven't had much luck recently. I started about 3 years ago, and that was good, but then the next year it didn't grow. But this one seems to be growing well. You can see the stalk right there, and a couple of stalks are growing. I got black cherry tomatoes growing, and orange ones and yellow ones, and the big boy variety tomatoes also growing. Black crims, and this will turn a very dark red. It's right there, black crims. I love the way it tastes. And I also got some sun sugar ones that are growing, and you can see that they are already turning. Some strawberries that I have, a container that I purchased from a Dollar Tree. This is the stackables ones, and this is the lid I also got from Dollar Tree. I don't want it, okay, I'll take it off, but it's to protect the strawberries from the squirrels. So I leave this cover on to make sure the squirrels don't nibble at my strawberries. I know this one looks really crazy, but I had to do what I had to do to protect my strawberries, because when it turns red, that's when the squirrels and the birds want to take a bite of it. So I have this blocking the area, this area. Then I have this decorative item kind of on the lids, and then I have 2 lids protecting my strawberry bush. This is the first time I'm growing okra, so I'm really excited. This looked really pitiful. This okra plant looked like it wasn't gonna be doing anything this season, but now it's finally popped up. And from what I heard from you guys in the comment section, okra takes a long time. So I am packing my patience and waiting for this to finally harvest. But I'm really looking forward to finally growing okra, because this will be the first time I'm growing okra in my raised bed. I'm growing vertical cucumbers. They haven't sprouted yet, but I'm really looking forward to them finally flowering. You can see the flowers right here, and once it pollinates, then it will start to grow a cucumber. And last but not least, my watermelon. I had this in a raised bed, but I took it out and I transferred it into this big huge pot with a tomato cage, and you can see the watermelon growing right now. Now I'm in zone 7B, so it's going to take a while for the watermelon to grow. I understand it takes at least 120 days. I planted this in sometime in April, but I am so happy that it's finally growing something. So once this gets bigger, I'm going to have to figure out how to protect my precious watermelons from the squirrels. So if you guys have any suggestion, I'm all ears. And here's another one right there. So I know I have at least 2 watermelons growing on this vine.